And now the answers to the previous episode's trivia questions.
According to C-3PO, at what does R2-D2 excel? Causing trouble. How fast will the Millennium Falcon go? 5 past light speed.
Hello and welcome to A Fan Reads Bantha Tracks. Today I'm going to read Bantha Tracks issue number 9. And this one is about the Washington premiere of The Empire Strikes Back! Alright, here we go. Let's see what they have to say about the Washington premiere. See what happened. Okay, the first U.S. screening of The Empire Strikes Back was held at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., screened in a benefit performance for Special Olympics. How cool is that? Empire was viewed by more than 600 area children, many of them Special Olympians. Rather than stage a gala event, George Lucas chose to premiere the exciting continuation of the Star Wars saga for these special children. As Special Olympics President Eunice Kennedy Shriver said, "I cannot think of any group more appropriate than Special Olympians to symbolize the struggle for justice and truth dramatized in the Star Wars epic. In overcoming the challenges they confront every day, Special Olympians give others the same precious prize I believe George Lucas is trying to express in the Star Wars films: faith in the unlimited possibilities of the human spirit." These children and the chaperones accompanying them were treated not only to the film, but also to seeing many of its stars and creators in person. Attending the event were Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Billy D. Williams, Frank Oz, who performed as Yoda, Kenny Baker, David Prowse, and Peter Mayhew. Among the film's creators who attended the premiere were director Irvin Kershner, screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan, and producer Gary Kurtz. Local celebrities joining in on the festivities included Ted Kennedy, Amy Carter, Ethel Kennedy, and Eunice Shriver. 2 not-so-famous Star Wars enthusiasts managed to obtain seats after sending Mark Hamill a letter indicating their great desire to see the film. Moved by their eloquence, Hamill sent them tickets for the by-then sold-out show. 2 other children became celebrities in their own right when they appeared at the screening dressed as Luke and Leia. As she stood signing autographs, the little girl was careful to explain, "I'm not really Princess Leia." Oh, that's so cute. Before the screening, a picnic lunch of hot dogs, popcorn, and cotton candy was served to the guests. As the 1,100 attendees munched their meal, a local high school band entertained with renditions of themes from Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. Mingling with the crowd, Carrie, Mark, Harrison, Billy D., and other stars of the film met their fans with unflagging enthusiasm, autographed the paper plates handed their way. As it is everywhere, the film was enthusiastically received. In fact, so great was the excitement that nearly half the dialogue was drowned out with squeals of joy and welcoming applause for each character. But missed dialogue or not, the Empire screening and party were events that these children will long remember, and I'm sure they will. That was really cool.
How about some Star Wars trivia? What was the number of the cell block in which they were holding Princess Leia? While talking to Luke's uncle, what did C-3PO say was his first job?
The answers to these trivia questions will be given on the next video. If you don't know the answers, that's okay. Just go see Star Wars again. Or ask a friend who's seen it a lot. Because how else would you get the answers? Alright, let's see what else is happening in the world of Star Wars. Let's see. So, opening day, Wednesday, May 21st, 1980. Hollywood. Sold out. Oh. Let's see. A steady drizzle of rain couldn't keep the fans from lining up outside the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood. They had waited 3 years for this moment and weren't about to prolong that wait any longer than necessary, rain or no rain. So at 9 a.m. on Monday morning, Terry Hardin and her friend Tam Sogoyan arrived to buy the first tickets many hours before they went on sale. 12 hours later, another dozen fans joined them in line and settled in for the wait. And a long wait it was to be, for The Empire Strikes Back would not begin its first public screening until 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday morning, some 39 hours after Terry and Tam first got in line. That's crazy! As sustenance for their very long hours, many of the fans brought supplies of food and drink. And as entertainment, there were cards, portable television sets, guitars, and miscellaneous Star Wars paraphernalia. Some of the more enthusiastic fans came dressed as their favorite Star Wars characters, so the lengthening line was dotted with Darth Vaders of all heights, Lukes and Leias of all ages, and an occasional Wookiee scattered here and there. At last, 1 hour before Empire was to begin, the tickets went on sale. A cheer went up among the 1,000 or so people patiently waiting on the rain-drenched sidewalk, and soon the 3-block-long line began to file inside the theater. Just before midnight, after everyone had been seated in the packed theater, the audience began a countdown. The second they reached 0, the lights dimmed and the credits began to roll, all to thunderous applause. As this first screening of The Empire Strikes Back got underway, the line waiting on Hollywood Boulevard for the next show was growing, and long before the midnight screening was over, the 2:40 a.m. show had sold out too. Wow, 2:40 a.m. in the morning, that's crazy. Although the waiting in line was pretty rough going for some, most fans said that the really hard part had been waiting 3 years after Star Wars was released for Empire to come out. By the end of summer, Empire, the second film in the Star Wars saga, will be playing in more than 1,200 theaters all over the nation! That's amazing. I wish I could do that.
It's the Darth Vader Collector's Case from Kenner's Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back collection. You can display it or open it up into an action figure storage unit. It holds up to 31 action figures like Bossk, Lando Calrissian, and IG-88. Action figures each sold separately. There's even a handy chamber for accessories. And it's got a hidden handle, so you can take it with you. Darth Vader Collector's Case from Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately. New from Kenner.
What else is going on? There's something called a profile. What is this profile? John Rios. A little picture of John Rios right there. John Rios is an unusual fan club member. At age 10, he has produced several award-winning drawings. The youngest member of a family of collectors, John gathers Star Wars memorabilia. When his collection was exhibited during the month of February 1979, it filled more than 4 display cases at the Modesto Stanislaw Library. Things have now reached a point where his mother, Mrs. Marlene Rios, says, "There is Star Wars all over the house. In fact, everywhere I look, there is more Star Wars." John's Star Wars collection was started when his mother made him a Jawa costume for Halloween 1978. Then Christmas came, and most of John's presents were Star Wars items. His collection grew quickly, and at last count, John had several hundred different items, including most of the comics, magazines, and books featuring Star Wars, a Stormtrooper mask, a realistic Darth Vader costume, a Chewbacca doll, the out-of-stock Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, and Chewbacca mugs, and trading cards and card case. But the pride of his collection is a pencil box, a pencil case, an R2-D2 bar soap, and a remote-controlled R2-D2, all given to him by the parents of George Lucas. Why? What? A little bit more explanation about how George Lucas, how he got, what? He got stuff from George Lucas' parents? How? Why? When? Where? Who? What? That would have been cool to know more about. Ugh, that's annoying.
The new chapter in the continuing Star Wars saga is now in our galaxy.
Okay, here's a section called Animating. It's about Phil Tippett. Phil Tippett, who became entranced with animated film at a very early age, has been a stop-motion animator since he was 13. Tippett, at 28, is a veteran in the animation field. His best-known stop-motion work was the fanciful animated chessboard sequence, which he and co-worker John Berg created for Star Wars. "We had 8 figures on that board and used single-frame animation to film them," explains Tippett. "Doing it that way was very difficult because of the large number of figures that had to be moved. We would come into work at 3 in the morning and be ready to shoot by 9 at night. That's insane. We would then move a leg of one figure, an antenna of another, a claw of another. Then we would take one frame of film and then the process started all over again. It took forever and we usually didn't leave until 8 the next morning." Although the use of stop-motion animation in Star Wars was limited to this one sequence, the film's adventure fantasy style dictated increased use in the saga's next film, according to John Berg. "People are interested in Star Wars sort of escapism, and with stop-motion there is the opportunity to create things that simply cannot be done any other way. For that very reason, Berg and Tippett were called upon to do the stop-motion work for The Empire Strikes Back. The results of their animation efforts are much more extensive than in the first film and include the sequences involving the Snowwalkers and the Tauntaun. Filming of the stop-motion sequences took place at Industrial Light and Magic, the special effects facility located in Marin County, California. For these sequences, miniature snowscapes were created on 5-foot square tables and matte paintings of sky and snow were used as backdrop. Although filming in miniature is comparable to normal-sized filming, the subtleties in shading and lighting are enormous and must be compensated for by very carefully adjusting lighting and camera f-stops. Because the interior filming on these miniature snowscapes had to match exterior filming done in Norway, it took Richard Edlund and Dennis Muren up to 5 hours of adjusting the lights before they were able to achieve the match. The script required the Tauntaun to run in most of its scenes, so the Tauntaun scene most often in The Empire Strikes Back is the miniature model created and animated by Phil Tippett. The large movements of the full-size model, filmed in close-up in Norway and England, are made simply by pulling wires attached to its head and eyes. The subtle and complex movement of the Tauntaun seen running in long shot was a result of the many difficult and trying hours Tippett spent in perfecting the look and the motion of this newest addition to the George Lucas bestiary, the Tauntaun, which looks like this. Here's an early Tauntaun design by Phil Tippett. Unfortunately, there's no Q&A. And the last thing, well, they do mention pen pal service and membership information. And the last thing, it's called the Newsletter of the Official Star Wars Fan Club. And here they mention Ford for Raiders. It says, Harrison Ford has been signed on as the lead in the Lucasfilm Limited production of Raiders of the Lost Ark. The film is based on a script written by Lawrence Kasdan from an original story by George Lucas and Phil Kaufman. an action-adventure film set in the 1930s. Raiders will be released in the summer of 1981 and will be distributed in the United States by Paramount. You know, I can see why they're putting this in the newsletter of the official Star Wars fan club because it has Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford plays Han Solo. But it's not a Star Wars movie, so why put it in this Star Wars fan club newsletter? This is taking up space that could have been Star Wars related. You know, it should only be about Star Wars, nothing else. Only about
Star Wars.
Well, I can't wait to see The Empire Strikes Back. This has been issue number 9 of Bantha Tracks. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.